Hello there, this is the guy that's finally back home from his holidays, and welcome to this AFK journey video. So good to be home sweet home. So in today's video, we are going to talk about the updated best teams for Grim Executioner boss for the Battle Drill Shadow Frost itself. So first of all, I will be discussing about the teams, the core units, the synergies, as well as showcasing the teams later on with some maxed out accounts for the units itself, and discuss about the substitutes. And for those of you guys who are asking for the team codes, because this is on my global server, I will be able to copy paste the team codes and put it in the description as well as the comment section, so that you guys can just copy and use it for your own account. So first of all, let's run through the teams first, and then we will do the showcase. So for the very first team, this is the highest damage team against your boss when the boss is below 50%. Right here, this is the team setup. Okay, we're going to use the team to just showcase the units. So we have Sinbad and Faramor as the prime carriers, and we have the Celestial faction, Celestial Hypogean factional talent, for the really good Chaos Revelation buff onto Sinbad as well as Faramor. So incidentally, the Celestial factional talent, Celestial Hypogean factional talent, has the attack buff as well as the crit buff, which is really good for bossing related contents. So you do see them pop by a lot. And some of you guys might be wondering, hey Zeep, isn't the boss really bad for the physical damage dealers, for the spectral shackles right here with the damage reduction? Why is Sinbad used as a prime carrier? So Sinbad's damage output is insanely good, but because there's this physical damage reduction, he's not as good if you don't have Reyna's charm ability. So this charm ability converts a portion of the allies' damage to true damage while buffing them permanently for the rest of battle, making them an amazing semi-true damage dealer, which makes Sinbad really usable for this boss fight. Additionally, Faramor over here has the ability to give you even more true damage with Bitter Requiem, because the magical circle allows allies to deal extra true damage equals to 75% of their attack. So this means that Faramor's addition actually makes Sinbad a lot more viable against this boss, with the ability to deal true damage over that physical damage reduction. So this is why we have Faramor. So Faramor does a lot of damage, has the true damage as well as the true damage buff with the buff of one ally. Unfortunately for the Sacred Pledge right here, there's no optimal positioning other than this to give you the buff onto either Sinbad or Talon. If not, you'll definitely get more, because you need twins here to activate the Reyna debuff onto the boss, and you need Talon as a magical damage dealer, which does a lot of damage. So you further boost it up with the inclusion of the buff from the twins itself, or having twins just buff up the haste of the whole team with their ultimate, as well as their hero focus and the rest of their abilities for the other two carries right here. So this is the first team. So when the boss is below 50%, Lightforge spell. When the boss is above 50%, you use Harmonic. So the reason for Lightforge is because of the execution stat, which gives you overall damage boost when the target that you're attacking has less than 50% HP. So we'll showcase the team later on. So this is team number 1, the highest damage team. Next, we have the Odie team with Lightbearers. So for this one, I already used up my attempts, so I can't actually just use the team here. Yeah, because like the units are used up, but we'll use the team preview to talk about the team and then showcase the runs later. So for this one, the core units would be Hypogean, Odie, as well as Cassidy for the main damage with the buff from Hypogean onto Odie. So morale's there for that additional magical damage, but for most people who are really new to the game, you might not have morale built up, right? It is a unit that is, I'll say, not the most meta, so you might not have her built up. You have like your Sinbad and Hypogean built up. Then this is where you might be able to use Siren to replace her, because her role is as the third damage dealer for the team. So if your Siren is built up to the Supreme Plus tier, which is way stronger than maybe like your low tier morale, then you can use Siren in her slot. Then for Valka's case, Valka's there for debuffing onto your prime carriers. So you can use Bonnie over Valka, which I'll showcase the variations later. It's pretty close because one buffs the carries and the other one debuffs the boss such that the carry does more damage. So that's for Valka as well as Bonnie. And then for Odie, I don't think you have any replacement, because Odie is like the second or third strongest damage dealer after Faramor as well as Sinbad from the previous team. So this unit is quite crucial for just amping up your damage together with Cassidy. So Cassidy is also one of the top damage dealers as well. So this is the combination, the Lightbearer team with Odie. And then last but not least, we have the Graveborn with Lenya as the main carry. So same thing for the artifact, right? For this team, we are using Blade Summon, right? But if the boss is below 50, you use Lightforge. So the reason for Blade Summon is because you have a whole bunch of range damage dealers, which just max out this ability almost immediately for the maximum true damage as well as the debuff, right? But for this team over here, if you don't have your 50% on the boss itself, you can't use Lightforge, then use Harmonic. So this is the difference, either between Harmonic or Blade Summon above 50, and then below 50 you use your Light Forge over here for the execution stats. So for this team, your main damage dealer is Lenya as well as Lilime. Lenya does quite a fair bit. So being a physical damage dealer, you will definitely need your Niru Charm to convert the physical damage to true damage, similar to the Sinbad case earlier, so that your Lenya can hit the boss a lot harder. And then you have Torrent for the physical magical defense debuff, mostly the magical side, for the units like Carolina, Niru, as well as Lilime to do more damage. So Lilime is the next strongest damage dealer outside of all the damage dealer mentioned earlier. So her ability to build up damage over time also makes her really good on her own with the Light Forge spell buff. So that's for Lilime's inclusion. So Carolina's for the damage as well as the magical defense debuff from the Ice Vortex ability. So for this team, right, I think the substitute you can replace, if you let's say not using Sinbad for another team, you can use Sinbad in Lenya slot with that true damage conversion mechanics. You can also replace Torrent for maybe Bonnie for more damage, for example, right? In the case where if your Torrent is not built up and you don't have the charms for the debuff, you just jam in more damage, or maybe just more debuffs such that you do more damage from there. So Bonnie as well as Torrent should be, I'll say, interchangeable. And then for Carolina's case, same thing, either Bonnie or Carolina, or maybe even Volca in this case, if you're not using Volca for the other team. So that's for the different substitutes and the team combination for the 3 best teams. Next, let's showcase the best teams run and then end the video there. Okay, so let me run through some replays from my guildies. Let's just go with this one. Okay, so this exact same team is the one that's able to hit the 86 build mark. So with all your max out charms as well as EX weapon, and the tiers, I think the tiers will be, like I'll say, the least important. The EX weapon as well as the charms, they are the more important one. So this is by Li Hua for the boss over here, right below 50%. With our Faramor as well as Sinbad carrying super duper hard with Tailin as a third damage source. So let's run through the replay. So I think for this boss fight, Sinbad could actually see some use even without Faramor, but then you will be probably much better off with your standard good magical damage dealer like Odie, Cassidy, if let's say you don't have Faramor built up. So I think Faramor is quite important for your Sinbad to work the best, but I think even without Faramor, Sinbad with Reina probably does a good amount of damage as well. Yeah, then maybe you can throw in like either Odie or Cassidy in the other prime carrier slot to buff them up, I guess. So those are the alternatives in terms of the substitutes you can use. So this team right here, I think he probably could have hit harder if the boss didn't die halfway, because I think the HP bar actually fell almost immediately at the time 3 mark. Yeah, so somebody probably killed it when he was doing his run. So I think this team can go upwards to like 89 or 90 build if you have your units built up in terms of their tiers as well as the EX weapon like I mentioned. So this is for this team, okay? And then for the second team, let's run through the second team, the Lightbearer OD one. So what right here did a 46 build run with the Bonnie setup. So let's run through this. So this is with Bonnie. Later on, I'll showcase my run with Valka's buff onto the team. Pretty similar because like I mentioned, their role is pretty much the same. There to amp up the damage for the other allies while doing a little bit damage on their own. So Valka does true damage and Bonnie does magical damage. So they bypass the ultimate of the boss. Okay, so this is, I think this is about 40 to, depending on how built up your units is, right? So for me, it's 44 build for both Bonnie as well as Valka variant. But maybe if let's say your Cassidy is a little bit more built up, you can hit like a higher number. I think the core units in terms of damage is Cassidy as well as Odie. So their charms as well as their EX weapon is quite important. Okay, so 46 build. Okay. Now next, let's go on to my team with basically the same setup but with Volca. So we're not going to run through the replay, we're just going to run through the damage breakdown. So mine is 44 build somewhere here. Yeah, so I have Bonnie as well. I have a one with Valka as well. So Bonnie is a little bit stronger, so I guess that could have attributed to the more damage onto the Bonnie in terms of that overall team damage, but pretty much the same, right? You do the same job with Bonnie and Volca replacement. And then for Morale's case, like I mentioned, she's like a third damage dealer, so if you don't have her built up, she's not going to hit as hard, right? Then you are maybe much better off with your Supreme Plus Siren in this case, so that will be the few things to note of. And then last but not least, the Lenya team over here. So my Lenya team does around like 20 plus build, cause my Lenya is not that developed. So this is my Lenya. Okay, this is my Lenya team right here. Not very developed. The EX weapon is not built up. But let's say if you do have your Lenya built up, let me see. I think my friend has 30 plus build run with Lenya. This is what I think. Yeah, so this is the team with Lenya. So for him, he doesn't have the charms of the units. He don't have the charms for Lily May, don't have the charms for Lenya and Niru. So I think if he has like all these upgraded charms, he might be able to hit like the 40 plus build mark with this team as well, with Lenya as the main carry from the damage conversion of Niru. With all the initial damage from Soul Reaver right here, with the execution stats as well as the attack percentage, also buffing up your damage output. Very good stuff. So without further ado, let's run through the replay. So debuffers would be our Torrent as well as Carolina. Main damage dealer, Lily May as well as our Lenya. News there for a little bit of support, but mainly for the damage conversion onto Lenya. Okay, so I'll be including all the team codes on screen. I think I should have included it at the start, but I'll also be including it in the description down below, so you can just copy paste the code, put it into your own account, and then use it for your global server runs itself. If not, I guess that's pretty much it for this video. The current 3 best team combination of units for this boss fight over here. If you have your charms, you have the EX weapon, I think you might be able to perform higher damage, but that's pretty much it. The 3 proven strongest teams in terms of the Grim Executioner boss right here. Thank you very much for tuning in. I'll see you guys again in my next video. Bye guys!